So come on in, take a sip, let's wind down. We are having a Boulevardier today, which is essentially equal parts bourbon, sweet vermouth, and the lovely Campari. You can also use Select, Venezia Select if you'd like. Any of the bitter oranges, bitter reds from Italy, bitter. I don't think it would work so well with an Aperol, but nevertheless, one of my favorite drinks. But it's like one of my favorite drinks, especially when I'm out of gin and can't have a Negroni, which is the exact same measurements. It's just swap the gin for the bourbon and vice versa. But a lovely cocktail. And it's a third wine. So I think technically we can wind down with it, which we're going to do. It's Friday. And oh my, we've got a fantastic word of the day here from Merriam-Webster. It's gibbous. And it's most often used to describe the moon or a planet when it is seen with more than half, but not all, of the apparent disk illuminated. So that's a word I've never heard before. I've not once seen it, and if I've read it before, it didn't strike a bell. Like, I didn't stop to look it up. But I can tell you, if I had been in normal circumstances, it would have been one of those words that I definitely would have looked up. So I that's really interesting that the first time I've seen that. And on this day in 1949, Edgar Allan Poe, basically, he's found in a gutter. And it's, he has to be taken away, right, to a hospital. But that was the last time anybody saw him in public before he died. A real darling of the crossword, Edgar Allan Poe. One of the things to remember about him is that his name Allan is A-double-L-A-N. It's a good one that they can hem you up on in the grid. And in 1941, on this day, the Maltese Falcon was released, and that was with Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor. Another darling of the grid, right? And one of my favorite movies. I don't know if I enjoy this one more than Casablanca, or vice versa, but I'm a big fan of Bogey. And lastly, today we have German reunification. This is a holiday. So I'd forgotten about it this morning on my drive to work. It was really, really early, it's like about 6 o'clock, and there was nobody on the road, and I was loving that. I thought, this is great. And then I realized somewhere mid-morning, oh, it's a holiday. All of our German colleagues weren't at work today. So it be that as it may. Now, I'd like to share with you this image that a friend of mine named Bud just sent me. Bud's a former news reporter, journalist, on-camera type back in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I guess he thought he would make some fun here with this one, and it did. It caused me to laugh, right? These puzzles are so easy. I mean, they're just so easy. I don't know why they put them in the newspaper every day, right? Yeah, I don't either, right? So that all said, I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are on this planet. I myself am having a good day. We're dealing with this the government shutdown. Those of us who have been accepted, as in accepted. So, in other words, we're not being sent home. We have to stay in the office, which is fine. I mean, I have a job to do, and that's where I'd rather be anyway. But I just, my best wishes and best thoughts go out to everybody affected by this. It's just one of those things that seems to happen all the time these days. It just seems like it does. I know it doesn't happen all the time, but it feels like it does. So that being said, on a brighter note, we do have a grid to get into. And again, my name is Christopher, and I'm delighted that you're here with me to solve this. Let's go ahead and hop into this. Rebecca Goldstein and Raphael Musa construction. And I can tell you right now, this is crossword royalty, constructor royalty. So this should be a great grid to get into. And if you don't mind, if it's not too much of a hassle, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button, even subscribe, really. It would just really do an awful lot to help with the algorithm, right? Finding more folks like you, because I absolutely love this crowd. I just love this community. Smooths out some rough edges. So what do we got there? Not listened to as on Spotify. smooths out as some rough edges. When I hear smooths, I'm always thinking irons, like we're going to do some ironing, but this is rough edges. I'm thinking maybe sands, and not listened to as on Spotify could be a skip. I'm going to just check that real quick. If this is a K, and one end of a lap could be a knee. So let's go ahead and put knees in there and make that work. We'll hit the skip. And why not try the sands? Okay, like the sands in an hourglass, so are the days of our lives. I think that's what they said. The first one was issued in 1936 for short. I'm assuming we're going for a social security number. Seems to make sense. Bad internet connections. Oh, I don't know. What do we got here? Like Miss Piggy and Captain Kirk by birth. Well, I know Captain Kirk is an Iowan. I didn't know that about Miss Piggy, though. See, you can learn something every single day of the week in the crossword. Miss Piggy's from Iowa. Wow, I had no idea. If I had to guess, I'd say she's from the Amana colonies. I don't know, Cedar something, maybe, I don't know. Apparently, we weren't done with these. This is a T condition that may be treated with SSRI, so maybe PTSD. And so, maybe another one? Another one. Well, apparently we're not done with these. Okay, so may I help you? Yes. Something like that. What comes before we go? Oh, no. This is going to be fun, I bet. Stops on a world tour, say, professional juggling act. Pest control targets. We're going to go with ants for this one. Ants. So what comes before we go? How about away we go? I really don't know. Stops on a world tour, say. Maybe arenas. Go with arenas on that one. Poet who wrote, "This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper," and that would be T.S. Eliot. One of my favorite poems. And really, when you're working your way through it, this was one of those in undergrad that took me a while to fully explicate. And I don't know that I would have been all that successful without the help of my professor. As a matter of fact, I read this one with Professor Bob Haight. Well, that was his stage name, but I love Professor Haight. Still do. Nice guy. Watches every now and then what we do here. Then he makes some crazy comment, why not? So, I like him. He used to always complain about the fact that they would not put a Pepsi in the student union, in the machines, in the vending machines. And he's tired of everything just being Coke. He didn't want Coca-Cola, he wanted Pepsi. Just whatever. But his music was amazing. If you ever get a chance to Google that, Bob Haight, great music. Some push notifications, some maybe news alerts. And professional juggling acts. So is this a K? Bad internet connections, maybe dead links, maybe. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're going to go with links. Thank you all for voting. Slapdash. Oh! If this is an F, one under a mayor's care. Could be a foal. So very nice. I think we're looking for half-ass. That's what I think we are. And if I'm wrong, I still got to say half-ass. So makes me kind of happy. Can't get enough of something. Eats it up. Eats it up, maybe? Perhaps. Van's alternative, right? Another German company here, Puma. I kind of tied myself to Adidas early on, but it turns out there's a story there. You should wiki that. But I think there were two brothers. And one decided that there's a lot of brother issues in Germany. I'm just glad the brothers Grimm didn't have the same issues that they've had at Puma, Adidas, and at Aldi. Because the brothers Grimm stuck around and gave us horrible things to read to our children, for eternity. But Adidas, Puma, two brothers that just said, I'm going to do my own thing. And they went off and made their own thing. Same thing with Aldi. There's like two different Aldi chains. One belongs to one brother, belongs to the other brother, something like that. I mean, it's crazy. Besties, maybe. Oh, I don't know. But this professional juggling act looks like it could be work life, and then we got room for balance. Let's try it. I'm feeling like why not? When repeated a nonverbal, can you hear me? Oh, you mean is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, gotcha. All right, so let's start checking this work-life balance. Net. Animals whose name sounds like a letter that doesn't appear in its name. I'm assuming we were talking about ewes, as in female sheeps. Net would be a web. Okay, that's working out for us. Hold on, we're working as fast as we can. I mean, do you see it in here? It seems like it's, we're going to check this if this is a B on the cross, something placed by a confident person. We'll go with a bit. Now that could be my cognitive bias. Or it could just be that the B belongs there. I was thinking, please be patient. I'll be more patient if you'll play that cool Cisco hold music. I like that stuff. Bygones will be bygones. Blank fading into gray, and it'll be eras. So Tay-Tay made it into the grid today. Good on you. Forgets to feed, say. Oh, okay, errors. It might have been Professor Haight that used that term last time I heard it, as a matter of fact. I mean, being a joke. Obviously we're supposed to have been proofread, but I kind of like that feed. It's funny stuff. Service to foster parents? No idea. Chances. Maybe odds? Odds, maybe. Path to the Oscars. Ooh, do we have a C here? Boxing Day month. Yes, of course, December. Day after Christmas. I really wish that we did that in more places around the world. What a cool idea, really. More than once. No idea. Content commonly consumed by commuters. I'm assuming podcasts? Yeah. Well, I listen to my fair share of them. There's no question about it. But mostly, I listen to, I have the WNYC app. And when I'm driving, I mostly listen to NPR. I mean, just easier. I'm not going to have it on a local station here in Germany, so... Not that I know of in this area. In fact, I'm fairly certain, since I've scanned the radio, there's no such thing here where I live in northern Bavaria. But is this elder? More than once. If that's elder, that could be craves. It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave. Electrolytes. Okay, so I really want to get down and make sure work-life balance works. Now we got all up in here. Stinging the eyes, say. Okay, path to the Oscars. Looks like we might have a red carpet. That's a clever clue, too. Thus far, Rebecca Goldstein and Raphael Musa, this is fabulous. This is a beautiful Friday grid. It is just the right everything. The gate's great. The personality of the grid is great. Not a thing inelegant about it. It's just seeming really cool. So they help you get a grip. Going with vices. I don't have any vices. No, I do. I have a table vice right next to me. With a C, I've got plenty of vices. With an S, not so many. No. 7 to 5, 6-0. I think we're going for sets, maybe. And if you were ever wondering, the 7-5 and 6-0, if you were going to say that in German, you would say 7 bis 5 or 6 bis 0. Not that anybody wanted to know, but just say. So cherry, but not strawberry, tree. And now, if I were some sort of geneticist, I'd want to turn a strawberry plant into a tree just to prove it wrong. One's easily fooled could be saps. And I guess we're talking about service to foster parents being elder care. Again, brilliant clue answer combination there. So we got acrid for stinging the eyes. That's wonderful. Diploma equivalent for short would be a JED. GED, of course. All right, so lose it. I was just trying to figure out how you could make get a life work there. I don't think it's going to. So on deck. Could be a couple of things. I'm thinking up next or next up, maybe. Stage character who says, how sharper than a serpent's... Oh, how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. King Lear. And, as we always say, Shakespeare majors unite. Because that's what we do. That's right. Yes. You guys, Shakespeare majors unite. You just start slipping some Easter eggs in and getting these decals out to you guys. So start doing that real soon. On deck. So is this an X by any chance? One skilled at withholding details. And that could be a tax lawyer, maybe? Is that an L? Staggering blows. I don't know. Is this an A? Al fresco dining spot. Okay, I think we have terrace. I happen to love dining on our terrace when it's not freezing as it is today. Well, below 0. It's like it's just cold. On deck, so I'm going to go with next up. That was my original thought. Shotzi sitting behind me, making her biceps look so sexy in tone. I'm sitting here doing my own curls. And one of 1,665 in the Eiffel Tower, and that would be a step. I've seen that in other places before, and as many times as we've been to Paris, like almost countless, it seems, I've never been in the Eiffel Tower. Walked up close to it. I don't even know that we had a picture with it in the background. That's so weird.
We have a picture of us.
We do?
I think so.
Well, apparently we have
When
a...
I went the first time.
When we went the first time, apparently we got a selfie in front of the Eiffel Tower.
I think so.
If I can find it, I'll throw it up here, but I didn't. It's been a while, I'm sure. Choo-choo train sound. What's a choo-choo train sound? I don't know. Toot, toot. I mean, I have no idea. Graduates in green and black regalia, in brief, would be MDs. If I'm not mistaken, that would also be DOs, but I'm not quite sure. Now I gotta know. Like, what if you're a podiatrist and you graduate, or a dentist? What if you are an osteopath versus an allopath? Is the green and black regalia only for allopathic physicians, or is it just for medical doctors? No matter what they practice, I don't know. I mean, if I were to become a chiropractor, which I wish I had done in my 20s, just be kind of cool to say it, but I wonder what regalia do you wear on that? When I and Shotzi graduated from university, we both went to the same school. We went to Wesleyan, and I'll tell you, it's Texas Westland. Since realizing there's a lot of Westlands. So then, we just had the most odd assortment of crap we had to wear. But she had like red and blue knots and black and gold and stuff. And I'm same stuff with the various honor societies and stuff. And I had this big medallion. I mean, it's a big gaudy medallion too of the what is that? The Sigma Tau Delta International English Honor Society. It was crazy. I mean, I felt like I looked like some sort of 14th century diplomat. It was kind of cool, actually. Luxurious European gambling mecca. How about Monte Carlo? All right. I'm feeling good about tax lawyer now. And to be quite honest with you, I'm feeling much better about our work-life balance since it's all kind of lined up. So lose it, maybe get angry. I don't know why that did not jump out at me. It just did not. And staggering blows, gales, and that's also beautiful. Reality shows, maybe a docu-series, another good one. I mean, wow. This is a fabulous Friday grid. I mean, wow. I'm just altogether impressed with this one. Welcoming could be warm. And modern day home of the oldest discovered library in the world would be Syria. And self-made maybe. Sprang, arose, and what do we got here? A vast amount could be a sea. Fished off the coast of Maine, maybe eeled. Okay, let's take a look at where we're at here. Who else? It's the kind of thing every guy dreams of, right? Some group of 12 people that don't know how to fight start a fight with you, and you knock 11 of them down, and you say, "Who's next?" Who else? Who else among you wants to go? Right? Not this guy. I don't want to hurt my knuckles or have knuckles hurt me. I like to keep it all together. Word after trumpet or tiger could be a lily. A lily. Waffles. Tasty waffles. National symbol of England would be a lion. And if you want to have some fun with that, look at the different images of different lions throughout the last, 1,000 years or so. I mean, it's really pretty crazy. Seeing the lion kind of evolve and morph and change. And it looked like something like a very tall, weirdly shaped, one of those, what are they? The wolfhounds, I can't remember, is it an Irish wolfhound? I don't know. Anyway, strange stuff, but it has morphed into something quite beautiful and regal. What a wave might mean? Sin, I don't know. Are we talking mathematics? I'd have no idea. So, stickler of a sort. Set unit could be a rep. Okay, now we have completed our sets and our rep, so I'm good to go. I'm going to do 5 sets of 1 rep. That's my workout. Stickler of a sort. Do we have a pedant here? It could be a pedant. Pedant, depending on how you pronounce it. I'll say either one, just depending. I don't have like a way to say that word. Whereas other words, like I'll say pecan versus pecan. Some things I'm pretty rigid on. Other things, I find myself going both ways. I just, whatever the mood is, I guess. Interesting. Ridged rod in construction. I can only assume this would be rebar. That's some strong stuff. I mean, if you've ever played with it, it's like a thin rod, and you think, "Oh, I don't want to bend that," and you're not going to bend it. I mean, you'll bend it a little bit, maybe. I mean, maybe if you're Schwarzenegger, yeah, I'm going to bend the riba here. It's fine. Bend it away. Right? But for most normal people, that's some strong stuff. You ain't no bending to it unless you're going to be applying some sort of fulcrum to it or some means of leverage to get that done. It's crazy strong. And that's, I guess, I use it in roads and sidewalks and, you name it. Stuffed. What do you think? Sated, maybe? Let's go with sated. Let's see what we got. Kiddo. I don't know. Tyke, maybe? Or what I call followers, if they're younger than me, but say under the age of 35, a lot of times they just wind up being kiddo. I guess I don't know, I'm not demeaning anybody. I guess what I'm doing is I'm celebrating their youth, right? And also trying to put like that, hey kiddo, listen up, kind of a thing, Oh, and when I mean followers, I meant, I don't like to use the word subordinates, but like in the past, in other supervisory positions, I've always been like, hey, listen up, kiddo. Here's the thing we want to do here, right? It's kind of soften stuff up, Now that I'm thinking about it, just sounds really horribly disrespectful, so I'm going to take it all back. Not a striking personality. Ones who are quick to complain. How about crybabies? And that tells me pedant. I don't know how that happened. Boy, I better go through this before I pull the plug on it. So crybabies, but that's telling me that our striking personality or the lack thereof is maybe a scab. And that's cool. If you don't believe me, ask anyone. Okay. So I guess our wave might mean bye. And I think we've got something raised during Oktoberfest. Yes, a beer tent, and a British bum would be indeed an arse. So let's just take a look and see where we're at here. It feels like we're probably going to be okay. If not, I feel like we'll be able to find the mistake. The issue is, I do this in the evenings when I get home from work, and, it's been a long day, and plus we're under a lot of stress right now, just with the shutdown as it is. I mean, it's stressful. So, British bum could be an arse. And so, I don't know, how did we do, Bob? Whew, good. It wasn't, there's nothing more demoralizing in a way, though, than hitting that grrr, so close. Just one away, or whatever little messages are, and it's just going to be because you just fat fingered something, right? Which is just so easy to do. And I'm not a touch typist. I have to look, though. Technically, I am a touch typist because I do watch these videos for quality control, just to see what we're doing. Hey, a little QA QC, right? And I can tell you. Half the time I sit there and I see myself going, and then I watch myself typing if I'm not thinking about it. But if I start thinking about it, then all of a sudden I can't do it. It's very weird. But there was not one word that I could even make fun of here today. There was nothing for me to even take a little jab at. I mean, and I do it in jest. Every constructor who's ever been published here in the New York Times has had nothing but the utmost respect for me. I mean, I think that it's so cool that when you get brought into the fold like that. But this might have been one of the finest Fridays I've ever solved. This was absolutely beautiful. And of course, we have two crossword constructing royals here. Yeah, the OGs, right?
Gangsters.
Exactly. The original gangsters, as Shotzi puts it. I might even say GOAT, two of the greatest of all time. I didn't know what that meant about, about 8 years ago, when Shotzi told me that there was a thing called Rate My Professor, and I was a professor at the time. And I was like, oh no. She's like, no, it's fine. You got several chili peppers. I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, well, you're hot. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. And then I saw one said, Professor Combest is the GOAT. And I thought, oh, what a jerk. Until she told me he's the greatest of all time. So I got to listen to the youth, including my wife, who's the same age. So, yeah. Or I could just try to keep up. And I do try to keep up. So, again, loved so much in here. I loved, really, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was great just to see half-assed in here for slapdash. The British bum, to see that spelled out, it is so funny. Because it's exactly what is said. We've been watching a show called The Hard Acres or something like that here, and that's been quite a romp. Liking that on BritBox. We watch a lot of BritBox, so. And, oh, yes, of course. Not with a bang, but a whimper. So good to see Thomas Stearns Eliot rolling in through in here. And again, the one takeaway that I have here from the grid is I want to know if you are an MD, you get the green and black regalia, or if you are any sort of clinician graduating, a doctoral clinician, do you get the green and black regalia? For that matter, if you're a graduating nurse practitioner or a physician assistant, do you get the green and black regalia? These are things I've got to know. That said, brilliant grid again. Rebecca, Goldstein, Raphael, Musa, bravo, respectively. We'll bring down Benier de Adieu. And I think it's time to go ahead and call the shot, right? Splash over, splash out. Yeah, there we go. Until we see you tomorrow. Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Que tengas un lindo días. Be well. And we will see you on the morrow. And looking so forward to that, the Saturday puzzle, my favorite day of the week. Until then, just be nice to strangers. We're all called to do that, right? It's out of solidarity at a minimum. And remember, when you meet that person with that strong, heavy accent, you're meeting someone with the heart of a lion. En cœur de lion. It takes guts. It's always about attitude. So, like Shotzi and me, plenty of times in life where we had no money, but we were never poor. Be well out there. Cheers.